Welcome to another episode of Football Talk with Shiftey. In this episode we have football news and some transfer news. The Naughty Corner is back with Carlos Tevez, and also Shiftey gives out his very first award after all the transfer news, so stay tuned for that. So let's get into it and let's kick it off.
And now it's time for Football Talk with Shiftey.
We start off the episode with some huge news over in London, where fans are absolutely livid in regards to finding out that Arsenal have around £50 million that they could have spent on players. The Arsenal Supporters Trust are demanding answers from the Emirates board as Wenger makes it 7 seasons without a trophy. The Supporters Trust asked the board if Wenger was held back from spending last summer and in the January transfer window, but the board insists it is Wenger's choice to spend on players. My response then? Wenger must go. Simple. Also, Arsenal have stated that they won't sell Robin van Persie in the summer even if he doesn't sign a new deal. Now, it's my opportunity to congratulate Liverpool on winning the League Cup. It was a great game that ended 2-2 in extra time. Liverpool went on to win their first trophy in 6 years with a 3-2 win in the penalty shootout. It also means that Liverpool will automatically qualify for the Europa League next season. I would also like to congratulate Cardiff, who played a brilliant game but fell just short. Well done to both teams, and hopefully for the Liverpool club, players and fans, this is the catalyst for a glorious new era. After the game, Steven Gerrard dropped a massive bombshell as he will consider international retirement after the Euro 2012 competition. Niall Quinn has stepped down from his position of chairman at Sunderland. Quinn stated that he wanted to spend more time with his family in Ireland. So Shiftey would like to take this opportunity to thank you for your contribution to football and wish you and your family all the best. West Ham owners have confirmed that they tried to sign Chelsea's Fernando Torres and failed with 3 attempts, and also they tried to sign Man City's Carlos Tevez. Real Madrid manager Jose Mourinho, I am fantastic, has stated in the press that the manager's job at Chelsea came a little bit too early for Andre Villas-Boas. Another great comment from the special one. I don't know where he comes up with them, but he does. Andre Villas-Boas even stated in the press that he is safe for another 2 seasons regardless of what happens for the rest of the season. If Villas-Boas does get the sack, Rafa Benitez's name has been thrown around as a possible replacement. Also, Roman Abramovich gave a small indication that just maybe Villas-Boas will be around next season after saying he has had enough of all the senior players criticising Villas-Boas. Staying with Chelsea, where the side went to Naples for their Champions League clash with Napoli. Supposedly the players were subjected to racist abuse from the Napoli fans. So it continues. More bad news for Chelsea striker Fernando Torres, who was left out of the Spanish side to play Venezuela. Russian side Anzi have confirmed that Gus Hiddink has taken over as their new manager. Hiddink looks set to earn about $8 million a season. Wolverhampton have appointed Terry Connor as their new manager until the end of the season. Manchester United manager Sir Alex Ferguson has stated that within 2 to 3 years he will finally retire as manager of Man United. Also at United, Nani looks set to be offered a new $27 million deal that will keep him at Old Trafford for another 4 years. Porto are set to lodge a complaint to UEFA over chants of "You're not so incredible" by Manchester City fans to their striker Hulk. So in their chants there is nothing racist, no swearing, no nothing, just making a bit of fun at the player. I think Porto officials need to get less sensitive and worry about why they got smashed out of the Europa Cup, not what City fans are chanting. Ridiculous. Now with some injury news, and we start off with Valencia, who will be without star midfielder Ever Banega for 6 months after the player suffered a double fracture of his tibia and fibia. Aston Villa midfielder Fabian Delph will be out for around 2 months with an ankle injury. Chelsea defender John Terry will be out for around 2 months with a knee injury. So that's it, that's all the news I have for you. We now go into the Naughty Corner with Carlos Tevez. So we're back with another edition of In the Corner with Carlos Tevez. Finally, Carlos returned to City to hold peace talks with Roberto Mancini. Tevez has been absent from the club since November and has lost nearly 10 million in wages, bonuses and fines. Mancini has even stated that Tevez could still feature for the side in the last 3 months, but Carlos could have already jeopardised his chances of salvaging his Man City career after accusing manager Roberto Mancini of treating him like a dog. And when Tevez landed back in Manchester, he was snubbed by manager Roberto Mancini and slammed by fans and former players over his comments during an interview in South America, which could see the player get fined another 400,000. Tevez was welcomed back by 4 first-team players, but looks like the Argentinian will have to grovel back to Mancini, even though the Argentinian has now apologised for his conduct, stating, "I've let down a lot of people, the club and all the fans. I wish to make things right and now concentrate on playing football for Manchester City." And it seems like all the grovelling that Carlos has been doing has worked, as Roberto Mancini has finally welcomed back Carlos by saying, "Help us to glory." It will be interesting to see where it all goes from here. So that's it, and that's the Naughty Corner. And it's time to all yell out, "Carlos, get in the Naughty Corner." So I hope you enjoyed this edition. We now go into all the transfer news flown around. So here is all the latest transfer news going around, and we start off over in London, where Brazilian striker Leandro Di Maio has claimed that Tottenham have already made a bid to sign him in the summer. The player could cost anywhere between 10 to 15 million pounds. Everton have signed Australian teenage midfielder Jake Adelson. Arsenal midfielder Andre Arshavin has gone back to his former club Zenit St. Petersburg on loan until the end of the season. Arsenal's Theo Walcott has emerged as a shock target for Chelsea. There could even be a swap deal for the player, which would send Daniel Sturridge to Arsenal. Interesting. Arsenal are set to offer Nicholas Bentner to Sunderland for 4 million. Bargain, take it. Arsenal are also looking at Montpellier striker Oliver Giroud. The striker has already scored 16 goals this term. Arsenal and Liverpool look set to battle it out over Werder Bremen playmaker Marco Marin. Liverpool have been given the green light to go after Bologna midfielder Gaston Ramirez. Liverpool midfielder Jojo Shelvey has joined Middlesbrough on loan until the end of the season. Chelsea could make a move for Real Madrid player Angel Di Maria in the summer. Di Maria is said to be unhappy at Madrid. Barcelona is said to be interested in Chelsea's Ashley Cole if the club decides to sell the defender. Manchester City could make a surprise move to sign Real Madrid striker Gonzalo Higuain in the summer. And also Man City are looking at signing Bayern Munich playmaker Toni Kroos. Aston Villa are looking at bringing in Blackburn defender Scott Dann at the end of the season. Dann is still only 24. Juventus are the latest team interested in signing Man United's Paul Pogba. News circling where Ronaldo has refused to rule out a move back to Old Trafford. It's going to cost big bucks. Man United could also make a shock move for former Liverpool midfielder and Barcelona player Xavier Mascherano. Leeds United are eyeing off a move for Ipswich right back and captain Carlos Edwards. Also, Juventus look set to offer Liverpool £30 million for unhappy striker Luis Suarez. Russian side Unzi has picked up Blackburn Rovers defender Christopher Samba on the last day of the Russian transfer window. Interesting, around $9 million it cost them. So that's all the transfer news. We now go into our very first award that Shiftey has ever given, and that's the Ostrich Award. In today's episode, we hand out the very first Ostrich Award. This award is for that special someone that looks at one thing that a team is doing, then when the similar thing happens to their team, they decide to bury their head in the sand. So the very first Ostrich Award goes to Sir Alex Ferguson. Now, Sir Alex couldn't be with us to accept his award, so I'll be mailing it out to him. But here is a rundown of all Sir Alex Ferguson's head in the sand moments. Number 1, Sir Alex Ferguson and Man United condemned Luis Suarez for not shaking Patrice Evra's hand. But back in the 90s, 3/4 of the Man United players refused to shake Patrick Vieira's hand. Number 2, Rooney and Nani have a small habit of trying to pull off the triple somersault with a tuck dive, and that is okay. But when Drogba and others dive, they should be condemned as cheats. Number 3, Ryan Giggs can sleep with his brother's wife, but John Terry can't sleep with a friend's ex. There you go. Number 4, as I said in the handshake from hell, Ferguson said that Luis Suarez should be sold for not shaking the hand of Evra, but players like Eric Cantona can kung fu a supporter, and there is no mention of him getting thrown out of the club. Number 5, Evra can celebrate in front of Suarez, and that's okay. But when Balotelli celebrated the same way in the FA Cup semi-final last season, and he is branded as being incredibly disrespectful. Number 6, Manchester United are still allowed to buy whoever they want regardless of being $353 million in debt. But Manchester City and Chelsea have been told that they need to cut down their spending by FIFA and the English FA despite having less debt. Number 7, Ferguson said that Kevin Davies' foul on Tom Cleverley, which put the player out for 4 months, was a disgrace. But Roy Keane broke a player's leg ending that player's career, but that's okay. So with that, Sir Alex Ferguson gets the Ostrich Award for being a complete hypocrite. So that's it. That's the episode. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to check out my Facebook fan page for all the stuff that didn't make the show on Football Talk with Shiftey. And don't forget to check out some other great channels like Arsenal Talk with Della, AS37, DJ Big Angus, and Doonism 1000. And last but definitely not least, you know the drill. It's grab your friends, grab your family, grab your kids, head down the park and kick a goal.